Okay, so today, so first of all, how many of you did solve those lead code questions? Did you solve those lead code questions? Yes or no? Did you guys solve those lead code questions? Yes or no? So today we are going to talk about uh, group, which is aggregation, and sort, grouping and sorting. So today the topic is group and sort. And in the last session, we have already talked about the where clause, which is for filter, right? Now, so let's say I have a table and this table has, let's say two columns. Let's say one column is employee ID, other column is department ID, and other column is salary. So basically, this particular table talks about which particular employee works in which department and what is their salary. So let's say this is the table that we have. So this table basically talks about which employee works in which department and what's their salary, right? So this is a simple table. Let's call this table as the employee table. Now, if I ask you to find out department-wise average salary, and let's say this table has department D1 over here, and then so let's say this is D2, this is D2, this is D3. So what will be the output of this question? How you will visualize the output of this question if the question is department wise average salary? If my question is to find out department wise average salary, how would you visualize the output of this question? Guys, so the output of this particular table or this question would be a table. In this table, I would have two columns, right? In the leftmost column, I will get department ID, and these are going to be all the unique department IDs. And then on the right column, I would have the average of salary. And this is where I would have and this is where I would have all the average corresponding to the department. So since I have three departments, I would have three records. One would be D1, second would be D2, and third would be D3. And whatsoever is the average of all the records corresponding to D1 would be here. Whatsoever is the average of all the records in D2 would be here. Whatsoever is the average of all the salary records in D3 would be here, right? So this is the output that I expect from this particular question, right? So when the question is department wise average salary, right? So this is what we can achieve using the clause which is group by. And how do we write the statement or the query? I'll say select. Now what I need in my output structure is like this. So in my query after which we write after select will also be like this. So I'll say I want to select department ID, comma, average of salary. Remember average is the aggregation function from the table employee, and we will write group by department ID. That's it. So the additional thing that we have mentioned is the group by clause, and the group by clause is followed by what column has to be grouped. So I'm saying to select department ID, which is going to be this, then the average of salary, which is going to be this. But I'm asking to group the data by department ID so that I can get one unique output for each department. And this is what your uh, group by is. This is what your group by usage is. So we use group by to basically get aggregated output against a category or against a categorical column. For example, if I use the ZS database, and if I look at the select a star from employees, now here we have gender and we have salary, right? Let's say the question is find gender wise average salary. Now how the output would look like? I would have one column which will be gender, the other column which will be average of salary. So I would write the same thing, select gender, comma, average of salary from the table employees, group by gender. And this will return me gender wise average salary. Now why I'm getting this empty cell also? Because in my table I have some empty records also, and these empty records corresponds to the average salary of 91,000. But this is how we group the data. Clear everyone how to group it? Simple group by. Do it, write this query and write down on the chat section, everyone. Now let's understand how we can filter and then group, and how we can group and then filter. So there are two things: how to filter and then group, and how to group and then filter. So when you want to filter, select a star from employees. So let's say I want to find gender wise average salary for only those employees who are in senior management. Now tell me how you would logically solve this question if you are using, let's say, Excel. How would you logically solve this question? Would you group and then filter, or would you filter and then group? Guys, tell me. Filter out employees and then find the average salary. So we will first filter the employees who work for senior management, right? So let's say select a star from employees where senior management is equal to true, right? So you can see that I have all the records for true. Then what I will do? I will group the data. So in my group, what I need in my output, I need gender, comma, average of salary, and then after where I will write group by gender. Now remember one thing, this is the sequence in which you have to write all the clauses. We first filter and then we group. That is a reason the where clause will be followed by group by. And now you have average salary for senior management. Clear, everyone? Is everyone clear? Okay. Can you guys answer this question? Find the gender wise average salary for finance team for the senior management of the finance team. Share your answers privately to me. Don't share it in the public chat. I am pasting this question in the chat section. So first we will filter, select star from team, sorry, employees, where team is equal to finance and senior management is equal to true. So this will give me all those employees who are in senior management and employees, right? And then I'll simply write, I want gender wise average salary. So we'll group by gender. So here we have the response, right? Now, guys, you can also do one more thing. Instead of writing this group by gender, you can also write group by one. This is also correct. Why? Because this basically means I am asking SQL to group by the first column which you have mentioned in the select query. So if I write group by 2, that means I am asking SQL to group by the second column that you have mentioned in the select query, which is going to be wrong. So 1 means the first column which I have mentioned in the select query. Okay? Find team wise, gender wise average salary. Now, how would you do this? Do it and share it in the chat section. Done, everyone? So find gender wise. Now the question is different. Some of you have answered it correctly, while some of you have answered it incorrectly. So the question is that for each team, within each team, each gender, I need the average cell. That means I need to apply group by on two levels, right? Select team, comma, gender, comma, average of salary from the table employees. And now I will write group by 1 comma 2. Why I'm written 1 comma 2? Because I want to group on team also as well as on gender also. So I am asking my SQL to group by the first column in my select query as well as the second column in my select query, right? So you can see that for each team you have two records. One is for male, so we have marketing male, and then I should also have marketing female. Similarly, finance female and male. Now let's say you want to order this result in, you want to order average of salary in descending order. So order will come at the end. Order by average of salary, and by default this will be going to be in ascending order. So from the smallest to the largest. But if I want in descending, so DESC descending order. Clear, everyone? So highest average salaries for a product team, engineering male, business development, and so on. Lowest salaries for human resource. Clear, everyone? How to apply multi-level grouping and then sorting. So we sort using order ID. Okay. Now let's say in this question itself, sir, why did we you group by 1 and 2? Because I want to first group on team and then group on gender. समझे? I'll first group on team and then group on gender. So in group by you need to write both. Either you can write like this, team comma gender, like this, or you can write like this, 1 comma 2. ठीक है? So when you want multi-level grouping, you need to write all those columns in group by. Okay, now let's say I want to filter this table. I want to find all those department and genders who are earning, let's say, more than 90,000. So when you want to filter the result generated by the group by clause, we use having. So let's say I want to find team wise gender wise average salary such that the average salary is more than 90,000. So how would I do it? In order to do it, we will filter the result generated by the group by clause, right? Filter the result generated by group by clause. So when it is to filter the result generated by group by clause, the filter will be applied after writing group by, right? So the way to do it is by using having. We use having, and after writing having will filter the result generated by group by clause. So I'll write select team comma gender average salary group by this, and here I will say having average of salary greater than 90,000. And now this will only result and display me those which are where the average salary is more than 90,000. So in nutshell, we use where clause when we want to filter the table which is from the database, है ना? The original table. We use having when we want to filter the results generated by group by clause, right? And the final order of writing all the statements are we start with select, then from, then where, then group by, then having, then order by. Okay? So this is how the order will be. We start with select from, then filter the table which is in the database. We group the data, we filter the group by table, and we order. This is the order in which we write. Clear everyone till this point? Clear everyone? Okay. So let's solve a lead code question. Can you guys solve this question? Done, everyone? Simple question. This one is a easy question actually. It's a one line question, guys. Very simple. You just need to find out teacher ID wise count of subjects, count of unique subjects. So we will say select what I need. So let's we need teacher ID in the output, and what I need count of unique subjects. So basically I don't need this and this to be counted twice, right? I want this to be counted once. That means I would count, but I would count distinct subject underscore ID. And what should be the name of the column? CNT. So as CNT from the table teacher, and we will group by 1. Run it. This is done. Submit it. This is also done. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? This was a easy question. guys, clear? Yes, no? Okay. Solve this question. So this one is also very simple. Done, everyone? Okay, so let's solve this one. What we need? Write a solution to find daily active user count for a period 30-day ending 2019/7/2027 inclusive. A user was active on some day if they made at least one activity on that day. So let's look at the result. On 2019/7/20, there were two active users. So one user, two user, so the same row. So I will only count this row for one time. So one, then this will be two, then on 7/21, this will be one, and this will be two. So I will count only one activity for one particular combination of user and session, right? But what is the meaning of this? Period of 30 days ending this. मतलब we have to go back 30 days. मतलब from 7 I need to go to 6, right? So first let's filter the data. Select start from the table name is activity where your activity date is more than 2019 06/27. So I have added, matlab I have went back 1 month from this date, and activity date, or we can use between also, but it is not a numerical, so we have to use and. Activity where activity date is greater than this and less than or equal to this, because here it is written inclusively, right? So let me copy this, put it over here, and close the bracket and semicolon and run it. So I should get all the records in this range firstly. Submit कर दिया क्या मैंने? Oh, sorry. So that's one thing that I need to do. Second thing is I need to group by activity date, call it as a day, and find the number of active users. So group by activity date as day, comma. Now what should I count? I should count either user ID or session ID, but distinct way. So count the distinct user ID, and I will call it as active underscore users. And since it is a group by task, I need to write group by 1. Let's run it. So here the result is correct for, okay, so we do not need to worry about those cases. Let's submit it. And this is submitted also. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? So if you go to SQL 50 days, 50 lead code questions, 50-day plan, you will be able to find out all these questions in sorting and grouping. So please solve all these questions to get a better hands-on experience with this particular topic. Okay? So let's meet on Monday. Till then, take care and good night. Bye bye.